Hey guys, welcome back to the first episode of AGMi. I got a whiteboard back here too with episode 1 on it. Let me go this way. I got my boy Aray today from Anime Plus Podcast. Say what's up.
What's up? What's up? Thanks for having me on.
No problems. This is officially the start of AGMi, Anime Gaming Media Incorporated, or something stupid because I'm corny like that. And today we're going over anime specifically. We're starting with, I didn't even think of that. We're starting with anime, first letter of the name. It's gonna be great. And today we're gonna go over what we think and kind of the state of One Piece is in 2025. First of all, can you believe we're going to 25 years of One Piece?
Dude, it's crazy, man. Like if you think about the longevity and how popular it still is, it's definitely a feat.
No, for real. And I can't, I think there's definitely some American cartoons that can possibly rival that. I'm thinking Simpsons. But for global phenomena and to have the type of things that, because I don't see no Simpsons in Super Bowl or what was it that just collabed? Lakers. I don't see the Simpsons feat Lakers in 2025.
Dude, I'm actually holding you on that one because The Simpsons actually just did a collab with the NFL.
That's crazy. I don't care about sports, so I would never have known that. But no, it's crazy. So let's see. I just asked him before the podcast. How caught up are you on the anime? Did you ever take a break or did you get caught up? Because I know you said you're rewatching it.
Yeah, so with my rewatch, I'm at Marineford. I'm actually watching it with my wife, and where I am in the anime, I'm caught up. So right as they have the break, I'm right there.
All right. What about the Fishman Island?
I have not been watching that.
Did you watch any of it?
I haven't because I figured on my rewatch I might just do that instead of watching actual Fishman Island.
All right. So I watched 4 episodes, and I want to be honest, it was garbage.
Is it?
I hated it. So I understand pacing has to be a little faster, but I feel like they did the opposite, and they're cutting out episodes. So do you remember the scene where they all return to Sabaody? And oh, by the way, so like I said, we're gonna talk the whole way up to current. So if you're not caught up, get off this pod right now. Spoiler warning. But do you remember where they do the return to Sabaody and Usopp comes in and is like, "What's up, doll?" To Nami, and they're all excited.
Yeah.
It pretty much just goes to Usopp shooting. It's like, "You're out of my league." Usopp shoots, and then they walk out.
Oh, really? So they skipped that whole.
It is beyond fast paced. It's crazy. So I'm excited for the Wit remake, and we'll talk about that here in a minute, but I just think they did not. I will say it looks pretty nice, and I'm personally a fan. I don't know how you were. I was not a fan of time skip up to Whole Cake animation style. It wasn't the worst, but I preferred pre-time skip animation up till Whole Cake.
Yeah, no, you can see there's a big difference from there and where we are now. So
yeah. Especially since you said you're rewatching Marineford, I really like the Marineford animation. That whole era, Enies Lobby to Marineford, that still might be up there as top 3 of the One Piece art styles for me. How have you been feeling with watching the remake, seeing where the animations come from? Because I know I've rewatched One Piece about 1,000 times at this point. Not the whole thing, but especially early and different arcs. And I know I told you so many times you got to get on this rewatch because you have missed so much.
Yeah, no, part of it is I keep forgetting what happens, but with rewatching it, you can see the evolution in animation style. A lot of times they have flashbacks and they use the same scenes as before. And you can see where they started from and where they came to. It's crazy. You see flashbacks of early One Piece Romance Dawn, and then you're like, dude, I can't believe Luffy used to look like that, or Zoro used to look like that. Now
when you said that, that's what my mind first went to. I wanted to say that specific scene where he's talking to Kobe, getting the apple. It's I want to be the king of the pirates. It's that first proclamation, and it's just seeing specifically wherever that scene is reintroduced to that episode 1 is insane. Yeah. Go ahead.
For sure, it's, I don't know, I think it's one of the coolest things when it comes to the evolution and how it's just changing over time. It's really cool.
And how about the manga? How you're not rereading the manga or anything, right? But you're caught up?
No, I'm not.
You should. Because let me tell you, like, even that Romance Dawn is very different with Kobe. Because there's like a whole scene where like Kobe gets Luffy not on a cruise ship. The cruise ship doesn't exist in the manga. Where like they meet Nami and everything for the first time. None of that's in the manga. In the manga, Luffy like rolls up on a beach, and that's where Kobe picks him up.
No way.
Like it's really different. Like that entire Romance Dawn arc, and I'm actually gonna be starting my 101 piece here in the next few days because I got most of the rest of the week off. And I'm planning on like gonna rewatch the first few episodes and read the first few chapters and like break that down because it's very different early One Piece.
Dude, so I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So I've heard that a lot of the live action One Piece follows more the manga than the anime.
Mm-hmm.
Is that true, or is that just like certain parts?
So I'd say other than Garp, yes.
Okay.
I'd say even Garp. Like, for example, the whole training arc with Kobe and Helmeppo, that is a full thing, and they follow that very accurately. There's a lot more with Kobe and Helmeppo in the manga in those early chapters. So I definitely would say, and I think there's a lot of other subtle things that it, like, pays homage to the manga, the live action, that is. It's very interesting, and I definitely... I don't think I'm going to be going through and... Well, honestly, I probably could do live action in my 101 piece for these first few arcs, because there's only, like, 5 arcs.
Yeah.
Do a quick little, like, 2-minute segment, and but the problem is I'd have to rewatch the live action, and that's kind of hard to do. It's great for live action standards, but I'd rather rewatch One Piece 3 times than watch the live action again.
Yeah, no, me too.
But so yeah, let's talk about where we think 2025 is gonna go. So because right now we're recording this on the 26th, day after Christmas. Hope you all had a good Christmas, by the way, holiday season. We're in the new year, and One Piece is gonna have a wild year, right? Like, we are not stopping for the rest of the year. I'm trying to think, is live action coming out this year?
Yeah, we're supposed to get a new season this year.
So season 2 of live action, which let's start with that. Let's start with the live action since we were just talking about that. The season should bring Logtown and Grand Line, not Alabasta, but like up to Alabasta, right? So we're gonna get Little Garden, which now you're finally remembering a little bit of this, I'm guessing, because I know if I talked to you about this last year, you would not have known.
Yep. We're also getting Drum Island too, right?
That's what I mean. It's like the lead up. So Little Garden, Drum Island, Whiskey Peak, but we're starting with Logtown, which I'm happy about. I wish it wasn't like that, but for the way they're gonna go about it, I'm happy with some of that pacing. Because them trying to throw in Alabasta into when we're not even in the Grand Line yet is insane pacing.
Yeah, dude. So I saw that they were casting Vivi, and I was like, what? But after they kind of updated it, it looked like they casted it for Miss Wednesday, which obviously, you know, could have before spoiler. So it's not really a spoiler. Obviously, Vivi is Miss Wednesday. Yeah. That had me a little bit spooked for a second. I was thinking the pacing would be too crazy, but it turns out they're actually filming season 3 as well. So season 2 just finished.
Well, not to mention, like, you got to realize that, like, right off. So for manga pacing, not anime, because in the anime we have that whole little extra arc, like there's a whole extra thing which is another really funny thing. I don't know, did you watch the filler?
I mean, way back in the day I did, but in my rewatch.
Okay. So do you remember, I personally like a lot of the filler that One Piece has, but specifically the filler with the 1,000-year dragon.
No, I didn't watch that.
So, but do you remember it a little bit?
You got
Warship Island was what it's called. And pretty much there's a villain that, like, they knock off the boat, the Going Merry, while going up the reverse mountain, which just, like, that's a filler arc, meaning that guy just drowned in reverse mountain. That guy never existed in the manga. So live action, it's gonna make a lot more sense because we're going from Arlong Park to reverse mountain.
Yep.
Or I should say Logtown to reverse mountain. And that's one thing that you gotta realize is from that point, from like reverse mountain with Laboon, which I'm also, do you think we're gonna see Laboon live action?
Dude, we need to see him. Like, he's a big part of the story.
No, he's a big part, but like, it's just, I'm really nervous because we got Dory and Broggy too, and I'm just really nervous to see some of the logistics of the live action when it comes to stuff like that,
Yeah.
because like that's gonna be really weird. That could be cool, but to have Chopper, Dory, Broggy, and Luffy go in Gear 5 or something crazy in the future, like.
They got the sea monster that bit Shank's arm, so I wonder if they're gonna go with that. You know, that.
Probably. So I'm definitely a little nervous, but I'm excited to see where it goes. Get more people into One Piece. Like, I think them doing this early part, I feel like so many people kind of know East Blue, but I feel like a lot of people really missed out on Up to Alabasta, that reverse mountain to Alabasta, Little Garden, all that kind of stuff. And I think there's a lot of important stuff there that people are finally going to realize. Speaking of which, do you remember any books? Any specific books in that early time?
What do you mean books?
Like just books in the series.
No.
So let's talk about the manga a little bit. Do you remember the last chapter or two? There is throughout a specific guy was talking.
Yeah.
That guy wrote the book about Little Garden.
Oh, no way.
And that was in the books from Ohara.
Wow.
That the Giants took.
I did not know that. It's sick.
So every time a new chapter comes out, not only do I read it live, I then go watch the Grand Line review, and then he does a second video where everyone's talking like theory-wise. So I'm like really thinking about every chapter every time it comes out and seeing what the community sees and seeing the connections, because it is impossible for a single person to remember all the One Piece and all the little details that there is.
Right. 100%.
So, but like, it's insane. Like, this character is actually very important. And with Little Garden being where the Giants were first introduced, I'm really excited to see what this character means. It might be that hidden character too at the end of that one chapter. And this could also be the character for that one cover art, if you guys do read the manga, the cover art where he's talking with Crocus at Cape Cod.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that. There's like one character with
Yep.
So really excited, but like he's been introduced since Little Garden, so I'm really hoping they take a scene to show the book.
Oh, I do too, because I completely missed that. So,
because who would? Why would you be watching Little Garden and trying to remember the name and author of a book when you're fighting giants?
Right.
Like, that's not important, but it is. It's important. Like, this character is important, and it's coming up. How many years later? We're in 2025, and he's still an important character that we know nothing about.
Right.
Which blows my mind. Speaking of the manga, so we're caught up. Can you believe that the crazy fan theory is true, or might be true?
Dude, I thought so for the past, I don't even know, few weeks or so. I keep seeing stuff on TikTok regarding that theory. And I'm thinking, no, there's no way that's true. And then I get to the last panel on the latest chapter, and I'm like, bro, come on, this can't be real, man. It cannot be real.
Grand Line is calling him Frank Figerlin. Not Shanks, Frank.
Okay.
No, because we don't have a name, but it's just like, why not Frank? His name's Frank now. And so pretty much the theory is like Shanks as an evil twin. Because every time, there's so many scenes that we see him, specifically the one with the 5 elders, and they're so nonchalant about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we thought the pirate he was talking about was was Blackbeard, right? That's what we all thought. And maybe this also could be an idea that, remember when he had his talk with Whitebeard, and Whitebeard said it makes these scars ache?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's the evil Shanks that's making it's not that Shanks actually did anything, it's the fact that when he sees Shanks, he sees the evil version.
That's a good point, dude.
Like it's just one of those things that just One Piece is just so famous for. It's like one little lore drop, and it's like, oh my god, it makes sense. Like Year 5, like Nika, the sun god. It makes sense. Like, there's so many things throughout the entire series pointing to this that it's like, nah. And then it's like, well, actually, now that we know the ending, we know everything leading up to it. Like, the amount of foreshadowing is insane. So I also saw something. How top of verse do you think this guy is? Frank. Let's call him Frank.
What do you mean top of verse?
So like strongest. So like when we talk about Emu, admirals, emperors, five elders, where do you think this guy ranks in the top of the verse?
I mean, I would only have to assume it's pretty high up there. Like for example, we saw how the five elders they kind of like teleported
Mm-hmm.
when they showed up, and I don't know if that's due to their power or power they learned. But he also did that too at the very end. So I'd only have to assume it takes a lot of power to be able to do something like that.
That's definitely one big question that was asked in the Grand Mind videos is where does that come from? Because we originally thought it was gonna like Emu or something
Mhm.
specifically with them, but then there's this other guy. We also were thinking that maybe someone had to be there already, and that's why Saturn went to get everyone there.
Right.
But at this point, is this evil Shanks a part of the world government? I mean, it wouldn't be surprised because we have Figureland Garland, right? The
Yep.
the new five, the new fifth, not emperor, elder, right? And it would kind of make sense with him having two sons that one kind of went away, one stayed, and the evil Shanks is the one that stayed.
Right.
Um,
Like we've seen this. Like One Piece is known for its like parallels. Like we've seen a lot of
mhm.
throughout the series. We've seen this, but in the opposite kind of when it came to Doflamingo. Instead of father staying, he wanted to go. You know what I mean? And one
Yeah,
of the
yeah, yeah.
we'll call it quote unquote good, and one was quote unquote bad. You know what I mean? It's a
Of
parallel.
course, I do wonder. This begs more question. How did Roger get Shanks?
That's what I'm saying. It's a great question.
Like it would make sense if it was someone else, but if he truly is a holy knight and he has two sons, why did one son just end up in a treasure chest? And where that come from? A lot of people are thinking maybe it's a God Valley, right?
Mhm.
Or maybe because we know a little bit about God Valley. What if that's one reason why he was so pressed to get started? He wanted his son back.
That's a good point.
But like, do we think we're gonna know? Do you think we're gonna figure out about God Valley?
I hope it's one of those things where we find out sooner rather than later, because you know how it is with One Piece. You can find out something years later on.
But the problem with years later is like, how many years do we got?
Right.
Actually, another fun thing about that is we're supposed to get a new movie.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've seen the news for that.
New movie. What do we think it's gonna be? Because I saw some people saying like God Valley, and it's like yes and no. Yes, because that's what film Red was to show Shanks and show the Emperor power. That was like the first time. So I
Hmm.
could see something about God Valley. The problem is we don't know nothing. We knew more about Shanks than God Valley at the point of film Red. So I don't want like a lore, like crazy lore drop because they're not canon, but they do have canon features. For example, Shiki was a real character in Strong World.
Hmm. Right,
So
exactly.
I don't know what we could see. We can get what film blue. Let's get the all blue or something, or like I have no idea what this is gonna be.
I don't know, man. Like you said before, the Shiki like that fit in with the story. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was really cool. I don't know like how they're gonna be able to do that here. Like,
Which was what you got to realize that was canon, but also not canon.
right.
Character was canon, but if we take the strength canon, Luffy only had gear second. He's going against someone that was on Zebek's crew. Luffy was not. Luffy is not was not at strength of Strong World.
That's a good point.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like we can get something absolutely crazy that's just not canon, but the character is canon. Like here's like we could see Zebek. We could fight Zebek, but it's not at the actual level of Zebek, but the character himself or something.
Yeah. I kind of like what you said earlier with Film Blue because we've also got like you mentioned before, we got Film Red, we've had a Film Blue.
Mm-hmm. So that could be cool. You know, something about the ocean all blue. But yeah,
Yeah.
I have no idea where that's gonna go. But back to the manga, like it's gonna be a long year because now we're full swing into Elbaf, by the way. And I don't know if you saw Oda's comment, like now that these characters, Frank and whoever this other chick is, Elbaf's in full swing.
Right. I don't know if you I don't know what website it is, but I can look it up real quick. But there's a website that kind of like lists each arc. It's One Piece fandom, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I kind of just like to see like how many episodes for each arc, and I was scrolling through it, and it listed this as the final saga.
It is, it is. Oda said, like, if you wanted to start watching, start with Egghead
Hmm.
because it is the end of the series. Uh, which, mind you, is going to be insane if we are only going to go forward after Egghead. By the way, now that Egghead's finished manga-wise, where do you rate that in like all arcs?
I love the information drop that we got. All that information was awesome. It had a good mix of like fighting as well. Like there's, was it
It was
episode?
nonstop.
Yeah, episode 1100, I think it was. Great episode. The
Luffy
animation,
versus Lucci.
amazing. It was
Oh
great.
my gosh, yes. The Speed Blitz is gonna go down in history.
I think this was a full package when it comes to like the
It
art.
was. It realistically, I think it topped, and it might be my favorite arc of all time now, along with Ennis Lobby. And I should say, when I say Ennis Lobby, I want to say Water 7 and Ennis Lobby, but if I have
Yeah.
to specify, more Ennis Lobby and Alabasta. I
Yeah.
really liked the Luffy versus Crocodile fight, the parallels with, like, you know, Mitochrosm, all that kind of stuff. And I think Egghead was just phenomenal in the fights, animation, the art, the lore, the reveals. Because you also have to realize that in that arc, it started with a murder mystery,
Right.
figuring
Exactly.
out Atlas. And then it went to Five Elders, but we also saw Law versus Blackbeard. We saw Shanks versus Kid. We saw Elbaf. We saw the Five Elders reveal. We saw Emu. We saw the destruction of Leloucia. We saw more Gear 5, but then we also saw the reveal of the Five Elders and one of the first full spreads in like 10 years or something since like Dressrosa.
I think you're forgetting about the. There's always one heartfelt moment. This time it was Kuma and Bonnie. That was amazing.
Yeah, no, and you know what? I'm so excited that One Piece got a new time slot for that because it's going to be able to do its justice now.
Yeah, for sure.
But let me tell you, I'm gonna have to. We thought Marineford. We had to tell our friends starting One Piece, hey, get ready for Marineford. You know, getting your heart ready. I don't know how I could. I might have to tell people to skip Egghead, depending on how the Kuma arc goes.
Exactly.
Like, I'm gonna cry like every week. I'm gonna have to prepare myself.
Dude, I've been like, again, like I try not to spoil it for my wife, but during our rewatch, I'm like sowing seeds in her head. I'm like, yo, Kuma. Like, I'm not saying too much, but it all
No.
starts way back then. It's awesome.
And in the current manga, where we are in the manga, Graham Mine, I completely agree with him. Kuma feels like an implant for Oda himself. And the reason why we're probably going to get a happy ending is because Oda cannot handle drawing the sadness for Bonnie. Like, trying to draw a tragic ending for Bonnie. He can't handle that.
Hmm.
Which is fair.
Right.
Like,
So,
like he's gone through so much. I'm okay him getting a happy ending with all the other like I feel like as long as it goes well. For example, I feel like there's so many deaths in One Piece that don't actually have meaning, but I think the Saul was good. How do you feel about Saul back? Jaguar D Saul.
oh my God, that one got me. Like, I froze, had to reread that panel a bunch of times.
Oh,
But
I cried. I cried. It was good. It was good. So if we can get Kuma's like ending like that, I don't mind him like losing the meaningful death and all this and that. I'm okay with it.
yeah, I
Speaking
kind
of Saul, do you
I
remember what's up?
was gonna say I want to backtrack one thing that you said earlier, if that's cool with you.
Go for it. Go for it.
So, can you remind me what happened with that whole Kuma panel? Like where Oda was crying. Like, I don't know if I got the details right on that.
Where it was unfinished.
Yes, yeah.
That one I don't quite know. I think that was more that he was just sick, the workload, and it was hard for him to draw. Because that was before he had his surgery.
Okay, gotcha. All right.
So I think it was just a mix with mental and physical strain that he couldn't finish it. But it definitely might have been partly like mental, like trying to draw that, and that was just really hard for Oda.
Gotcha.
But with Luffy, do you remember that? I think it was this chapter, 1134, that he gave Saul a proper welcome.
Yeah, no, to do that.
And I don't know about you, I also was taken aback, and then I read the next panel, and everyone was taken aback. by how proper Luffy was. Where do you think he got that from?
I really don't know, and I think that's what makes it even better, right?
Two places there's a possibility. One, Ace wanted to, because he wanted to thank Shanks. So Ace asked Mako in their hometown, and Luffy wants to copy him, so he took some of that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Actually, three places. Two, Rayleigh wanted to thank people, so he asked Rayleigh to be a little bit formal. And the reason that it's like an underworld, because the way it sounded like, and I don't know if you read like the tag, it's meant like a mob boss, like a mafia.
Yeah.
It could be because Rayleigh is more underground, that it's not going to be as formal.
Hmm.
And third, the specific pose, which if you're an anime viewer would recognize, that was when Jinbei came into the crew.
Oh,
If
no.
you're manga only, you're only seeing a little bit, but the anime had him full like phase in Wano when he joined the crew, and he did that exact pose where he laid his hand out and did a formal welcome.
Dude, yeah, I didn't even realize that.
So like so Luffy probably either asked or picked up on stuff and decided to kind of throw it together to be as formal as he possibly can. Because you gotta realize that Luffy does act goofy, but he is not as goofy as Goku in Super. Like, I don't know if you remember, like, Goku in Super, it's like, it's nice for you to meet me, good king guy.
Right.
Like, he's really bad. Luffy's not that bad. He doesn't pull it out, but he can be serious. I think a great example of this isn't like a new thing is him with Vivi. It's like, put our lives on the line. You have to do this. Like, we are your friends. And that Luffy really can, especially after a time skip, he is the captain, and he can take up that mantle if need be. He just never does it.
That's a good point.
But yeah, so with the manga, where do you think it's gonna go this year? Obviously, I don't think we're far enough to say that Elbaf is finishing at the end of the year for how big it is. But specifically, who do we think the villain's gonna be? Do we think it's someone else? Do we think it's Loki? Do we think it's Mara or Maria, whoever Loki was talking about? Or do you think it's Frank and this other girl?
I don't know, because they make you like assume that it's Loki, just kind of the way that it's starting to shape up. But if you've watched One Piece, you know sometimes the people that are portrayed as villains aren't necessarily the villains. We've seen a couple of arcs like that before, so he might not be. Like, there might be a reason why he's the quote unquote banished prince. You know what I mean?
So on TBC Scans, I read a forum post, and I think it is such a cool idea, and I have no idea if it's true, but it makes complete sense to me. Specifically, while talking about it, the guy was talking about how, what if he killed the king? Because remember, we also read in this chapter that they're going soft. They're trying to be more peaceful. They can't even say brat anymore because that's too barbaric.
Yeah.
What if he killed the king because he wanted to bring Elbaf back to its glory?
Right.
What if Harold was actually bad and he was saving Elbaf because he was trying to weaken Elbaf so it could be overtaken?
Right. No, exactly.
What if Harold is the villain and he saved it, but he did it in such a gruesome way or whatever or like Harold had the trust of the people that even though they were being manipulated, they followed him.
And that's what I'm saying. It's so tough. We don't really know. And going back to that parallels thing, like we saw where everyone thought Cobra was a bad king, but it turns out he was a good king. I could see the opposite for this happening. Like,
no, for sure,
the bad prince, but he might actually be good. Who knows?
And not to mention like the whole brother thing. Like I'm really excited to see where it goes, especially just for that panel. What do you think about that panel where we started Elbaf specifically and we saw Elbaf and we saw Loki? Those drops, that art was just phenomenal.
Yeah, dude. I just recently got into the manga. You know that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't start earlier, because sometimes like I just take a second or even a minute to look at some of the panels and I'm like, damn, how did I miss all this?
For sure. So we do got a few more minutes here left. Let's talk about some other stuff coming up this year, such as with it being 25 years, I think we're going to get are we getting the Wit remake this year? Do you know?
So I don't think it's been confirmed for this year, but I do think that it's going to come sooner rather than later.
because I thought it was for the 25th. So I think it might be later this year, but I do think we are going to get something of it, or I hope we get some kind of announcement soon, because I thought it was for this year.
You could be right, but I haven't seen it anywhere on like
I haven't seen it either. That's what I'm saying. Like, I thought it was for this year, but then we're going into this year and we have nothing. Uh, but let me tell you, what a time to be a One Piece fan. We got Fishman Island, which might be a little iffy, but we're about to get the Kuma. We're about to get the climax of Egghead with the Five Elders, Kuzan versus Luffy, all this crazy stuff. It's going to be peak animated. Some new voice actors, sadly, but also, you know, rest in peace, Frankie. He's not dead, but the voice actor is officially stepped away. Did you see that, by the way? I know I commented in Anime Plus. It's like, bro, One Piece is the only anime that's gonna make me cry over a pair of underwear.
Yep.
That was so sad. But then we got a movie coming up. We got the remake. We got live action season 2, which I don't know about you, I'm happy for the casting. The casting looks phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I'm cool with it. I know a lot of people had some issues with it, but I could care less. I think it's great.
No, yeah, so I'm really excited to see where it goes. I will always be a fan of the original. I think even the Fishman Island or the Wit remake, if it gets the whole way up there, I'm gonna like the original. At least pre-time skip.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm probably gonna like the Wit more than Fish. I really hope they take back the Sanji gag a bit in Fishman Island.
Oh, I hope so.
But no, what a time to be a One Piece fan. I'm so excited to see where this year goes.
Yeah, I think it's one of the great things about having the live action is it actually got a lot of people to watch the anime. Maybe not a ton. Maybe it's not like how, you know, for example, Demon Slayer got a lot of people to watch anime, but it definitely did change the minds of a lot of people. For example, my wife, you know, she would have never watched One Piece. We just finished Naruto, and she did not have any intention to watch One Piece. She watched the live action with me, and that's what got her thinking maybe I should watch the anime. So definitely had a positive effect. And it's kind of interesting because there's like a cycle that I've seen over and over again with anime. The sales start off really hot, anime drops, the sales are really high for the manga, and then it dips down, and then it usually just declines until the end. But for One Piece, it's different. When Marineford happened, it peaked all the way back up, and not just to where it was, even higher than it was before. And now, obviously, that decline is natural. It's going to happen. But where we are right now, it might peak it one more time.
Yo, for sure. I can guarantee it will. Do you know how?
How?
The One Piece.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
When that arc gets volumized, not in the manga, but like when it becomes a volume, that's gonna sell off the shelves because people want to see the new art, you know, revamped and everything of what the One Piece is. It's gonna break the internet. I do not think there is a single thing other than, like, I don't know, the coming of Christ that people waited as long for.
The only thing I'm kind of scared of is like leak culture, just in the sense that like once something breaks the internet, it happens at the same time. For example, like when the Attack on Titan, the last episode dropped, everyone was on it at the same time. But it's hard with leak culture because you're gonna get the chapter 1 week ahead of time, then you're gonna see it slightly on TikTok and X, and then you get the chapter, and then you get the anime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's too much of a time.
Like in JJK, the whole Sukuna versus Gojo fight. I knew that was happening eventually, and I'm like, oh, so that's how it ended. Okay.
Right.
I'm not even in leak culture for JJK. I do not follow JJK news, and I knew about it.
Right, that's what I was saying. But
so it's gonna be a rough time because, like you said, like it is going to be revealed and it's gonna be told. It's gonna be talked about. So like, I don't know, what do you just have to ban One Piece from social media? You gotta ban every single letter of One Piece?
I think there's really two ways of going through it. One is if you can't beat them, join them. You might have to join league culture. Or two, you have to go that route where you just have to like completely block yourself off.
But like at that point, like you just gotta go full social media, like off the grid. Because like I said, like I'm not even caring about JJK and I saw it. So like it's gonna get to you because not everyone tags everything properly. So you're gonna know about it. Or yeah, you're gonna have to maybe even not join the leak culture, but at least join the manga. Like you're gonna have to read the early scans, maybe not the summaries.
Right. It's gonna be tough, man. I still feel like even with that whole time lapse and like leaks versus non-leaks, I still think that's gonna break the internet.
Oh, it absolutely will. It's just gonna make the internet even longer, honestly.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting.
So we got like what, 2.5 minutes left. Any specific thing for 2025 that you were just absolutely excited about when it comes to One Piece, whether that anime, manga, or excited for the live action, or
I'm
a
ready for the
specific reveal that you want to see?
I'm ready for the anime to come back because it's been what 6 months
Total, yeah.
waiting for that to come back, and I just want to see where the manga goes so badly. Like that last chapter just had me shook.
It did. I gotta agree. Like, I think the manga's great, but I think seeing the Kuma arc is gonna tear my soul apart, and
100%.
I'm here for it. Seeing that with the animation quality that we had so consistently, and they want to make it better with the hiatus. Where are we gonna go for this Kuma arc? And I feel like they're gonna give him justice with the less censoring as well.
Exactly. I'm really excited for it.
So, but yeah. Well, Aray, thanks for hopping on and chatting with me today with the first episode of AGMi.
Yo, I appreciate you for having me on. We got to do this again. This was pretty fun.
No, definitely. Like, I want to try to do more anime, so we could definitely hop on. Like, I plan on doing a pod for like the spring season, fall, like all that kind of stuff. But I figure, One Piece is crazy. The new chapter is crazy. So let's start with that. Let's start our year off with One Piece. There's nothing better, right?
Yes, sir.
So yeah, I'm your co-host. I'm not the co-host. I'm the main host. There's only one main person, and I'm Dr. Zombrain. This is Aray, guys. I'm gonna have a link on my website and Discord if you want to follow the Anime Plus podcast, the Discord, follow socials, all that. And thank you so much for joining me today. And I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.